Hello and welcome. So, motion graphics are a cool way to improve the way things are looking or to get people's attention. And so, we're going to talk about how to use the very cool options that Canva is giving us to kind of jazz up everything that we're doing in there. So, let's get started, shall we? All right, and just give me 1 second here because I see two problems. One is I need to make sure, okay, Facebook, I apologize. Again, they're not showing me your comments, so I'm going to bring them up on a different device, but it's also too dark in here. So let me fix that. Because while I like it dark, I understand that most people like things a little brighter. So let me just fix that. That's real quick. We got that, and we'll do this. Hello. See, I really am here. All right, let me get back to Facebook. So, yeah, great way to start things. But you know what? It's been that kind of week, and we're just going to roll with it. Let's talk about the wonders of motion graphics. So, motion effects specifically. Motion effects are something that we're not aware that we react very strongly to. So we're going to talk about what they are, how you can use them, and then I'm going to show you the really cool things that Canva's giving us, most of them for free. So the free accounts are totally in on this. There's one thing that I found that you need a pro account for, so we'll talk about that. But we're going to talk about all that, and then I'm going to give you a demo of what it is that we can do inside of Canva. So yes, Marcus, my choice is things are a little bit darker than most people would like, so I did have to adjust because, I understand everybody likes things a little different, and this show is for you. It's not for me. So there we go. All right. So let's start off with the basics like we always do. We like everybody to start off at the same level. We want everybody to understand what it is that we're talking about because too many people assume things when they go into these kinds of videos. That's not our way here. All right. So motion effects. What the heck? What is she talking about? What is this new phrase she's throwing at us? They're really nothing more than animations, right? So motion effects are just animations that you can add to your various designs to make them more dynamic and engaging, eye-catching. It's also a good way, frankly, to keep people awake. Like if you're doing a presentation, they're a good thing to work in. The whole point of it is that you're trying to just draw attention to certain elements or just draw attention overall. And there's lots of different ones out there. And like we can get into terminology, but we don't really need it, right? It's sort of common sense stuff, right? So you can do things on entrance. So when something comes in or when you want to show something, when you're done with it, you can have an exit one. When it's on a screen, you can do what they call motion path. And we'll do one of those where instead of something just happening, like it's spinning or whatever, you can actually have it move around the screen. So, I mean, if you kind of think about it, it's sort of like animation that you're used to seeing in like movies and cartoons and kind of things, but on a much smaller scale. It's very simple. And that's what I love about what Canva's done because I've had to do this for clients for presentations and websites and that kind of stuff using more traditional tools, which are great, but they are heavy. They take a lot of time to learn. And frankly, they're expensive. And so that's why I love the fact that not only is Canva providing this, but they're providing it in the free version as well as the paid. So we are totally on board with what Canva's doing here. And then it's also things like, rotation and scaling and all that. So I'm going to show you some examples if you're not exactly sure. Sometimes I know that seeing it helps, but I just want to get through this intro thing first. All right. So the next question I always get is, well, why do I care? Where can I use these? You can use these in a lot of different online places. Now, obviously, print. At this point, print is not like on a piece of paper. You're not going to get that Harry Potter movement, the kind of a thing that you saw. But you can use it in social media posts in a lot of cases, in presentations and infographics. You can use it in videos. You can use it either in videos or to create videos. And you can also use it to create GIFs, which we all love a good GIF around here. So do keep that in mind too. All right. How do they help? Like what is the benefit of taking this extra step? They're going to make your designs more engaging, more dynamic. It's definitely going to draw attention. It's also going to break up the monotony of the static images. And I'm not picking on static images. Static images actually, absolutely have their place. Not actually, absolutely. Absolutely have their place. They're a great way to communicate information, also just to grab attention. But adding those little pieces to it on a selective basis. So think of it as a seasoning, right? You don't want your motion graphics to be everywhere all the time, so overwhelming that the message is lost, right? But with the right light touch, it can be a way to make your content stand out. Like, for example, on social media, as somebody is scrolling through, that tiny bit of animation might make somebody stop just long enough to get curious about what it is you posted. Same thing with your presentations and all that. It's very hard to keep people's attention during a presentation, but those little pieces of animation that you can throw in help to keep people engaged, and it also brings a little moment of serotonin and delight to people's brains, which is always necessary in a presentation. Let's be honest, right? I mean, we need to do them. They're important. They serve a purpose, but you need to keep the people. And the other thing is that they make your content more memorable, right? So when somebody sees it, even if they don't react to it in the minute, it's in their head a little longer. And so they might say something to somebody about it, or they might remember it and want to go back to it. It also makes your content more shareable because, again, it's doing something, and that triggers in people that, hey, look at this moment, that they want to share it, which is always a win. Marcus is mocking me, and you're allowed to do that. Light is kind of important in video. Yes, audio, then lighting. Okay. So Marcus is diving in. Yeah, motion graphics in DaVinci Resolve right now. Yes. Yeah. So again, it's a sliding scale kind of thing, right? So you're going to be able to do more in a bigger tool, right? So if you're using things like DaVinci Resolve, you can do this in Camtasia. If you're doing it in Blender, right, you've got a lot more. Like those are, well, not all of them, but like Blender, for example, entire Hollywood productions, animated productions have been created in Blender. So that's like the high end of the scale. Like that's a lot of learning. And so the stuff in Canva is just little light touches, right? It's what most of us need. Most of us don't need all that firepower. I'm not saying don't go learn it because it is fun. I go and play in those tools on a regular basis, but it's on a more daily use kind of level than it is a Hollywood production level. So just to level set. So yes, absolutely. The key is to make it look great and not cheesy or just eye-catching, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with, even a little cute. But yeah, you don't want everything on the display to be doing all the things all the time because, like I said, your message will get lost and you don't want that to happen for sure. Okay. Okay, so yeah. For those of you who maybe don't know who I am, hello, my name is Kathleen. I'm here as your tech coach. The short version of the story is I do all of this for a living, right? So I design software applications for a living, but I also do side work with clients. So I do graphic design, all this kind of stuff, which is why I have the background in this kind of thing. All my friends, family, neighbors come to me, coworkers, when they have questions, when they have a problem. Somebody called me a polymath the other day, and I love that word because, yes, that's definitely me. But I also realize that not everybody has somebody to come to. So hello, that's why we're here every week. We're here every Friday, 8 p.m. But if you have any questions, if you have a topic you want me to cover, you can always reach out to me at yourtechcoach.com. Okay, so now that's out of the way because it's important to introduce yourself every once in a while. All right, so the other thing that I wanted to get out there are just a couple of quick tips about using them without distraction, since we were just talking about that, right? So just rule of thumb, none of this is written in stone. These are recommendations to keep in mind. And of course, with art, there's always the, here's the rule and here's when you break the rule. So the rule is 1 or 2 effects per design. That's basically the safe zone. Now, are there times when another is a good thing? Absolutely, of course. But you need to use discretion. You need to really think about whether you need that extra one. Just because you don't want it to be you want it to be eye-catching, the motion, without it distracting from your message. So that's the balancing act that you're trying to pull off here. So you want to keep things simple, subtle, right? You don't want to go too much in your face. You do want to be aware of anything that is like flashing or happening too much because you don't want to trigger seizures. Some people will have seizure disorder, and things like flashing lights, flashing animations, fast-moving things can trigger that. It can also cause motion sickness for some people. So you do want to be careful about it and probably go a little slower than you feel is right, because that's generally the safe zone. You want to keep your effects focused on highlighting important elements or important points that you're making. And again, the whole here, you're over and over, don't overwhelm the design or your audience. Subtle. And test different things to see what's going to work best, because we all tend to fall in love with certain effects. But that also then becomes stale over time, or it might not be the right fit for the particular message you're putting across. So try different things, test them, get some feedback to make sure that it's a good fit. Marcus says rules should be broken intentionally, not just because. Yes, and I find that, and I've read this in several places too, that the successful times that you break a rule are when you know and understand the rule first. So that's why we talked about that. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, so we're going to jump in and I'm going to do the demo now. Like I mentioned, all of this stuff works with Canva, free and paid accounts, and it works on the desktop, the browser, and on mobile. So as usual, Canva is rocking it and giving us the tools in all the right places. There was one thing that I found that is Canva Pro only, and I will mention that as we go through. Ready? Alrighty, let me get this down. And I'm going to start off in the paid account, but I do have the free account up in case you want me to switch to that. That's totally fine. But I did promise an example. So just before I go there, sorry to whoever's doing my time codes on this one. So this is just a really subtle example that I just did that you may have noticed if you were around for the beginning of the show. So this is a rotating motion graphic. So I had this running at the beginning of the show just for a little eye candy, right? Just a little something going on, something out of the norm. I don't normally do this for my opening sequence. But that's just a real super simple example of something that I was able to do in Canva in one click. I love the one click. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do the demo. We're going to look at it in Pro, but if you want to see it in the free version, just let me know and I can bring that up as well. All right, let me switch here. Okay, so here we are. Now you don't have to use dark mode. I like dark mode, hence the lights were low when I started. So just be aware that, yes, we're looking at dark mode, but that's an option you can change. If you hate it, you don't have to have that. Okay, so to get started, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start us off with, let's go social media. Oh, by the way, they're celebrating their 10th year, and I love this. Is this showing up on the screen? Oh, really? Are we frozen again? Hang on. This happened the last time I tried to do a demo too. Hang on, let me bring the screen up. Evidently, you're not seeing what I'm doing, which is not helpful for a demo. For a demo, you need to see what I'm doing. I am going to refresh the screen until it behaves and does what I want. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay, it just needed a little convincing. Okay, so this here is what I was talking about, because they're celebrating the 10 years of doing this. Now, this is cursor trails, and this was a big thing like in the 1990s for a while. So it cracks me up to see that it's back and people act like it's never been done before, but this has been around for a long time, but it's cool. All right, so anyway, getting focused. There's a lot of different places that you can use the motion effects, but I'm just going to get started with a social media one because that's where most people are going to do this kind of thing. Okay, now it's not letting me click on things. Come on. Okay, here, we'll do it this way. Oh, Marcus is also pro dark mode. I knew I liked you, Marcus. All right, so here we are with just a basic one. Now, of course, you can start from scratch. You can use one of their templates. You could bring in art that you have and work on top of it. I'm going to make a random choice here just because we need an example. Here we go. This is a good one. I'm pro this too, okay? So, we're here. This is about an event. We can come in if we wanted to change the background color. If somebody was anti-dark mode, maybe we would go like that. But whatever, you're going to do your normal changes. And then you're going to be like, well, okay, maybe there's something here that I want to do. Now, the first thing I want to show you is that the options that you get depend on the element you have selected. So I'm going to start with this one. Okay, and you see here, we've got this animate up here at the top. Let me get my little tool here so I can highlight it for you, okay? So I've got a graphic selected, and I'm going to select the animate option. And when I do that, it's going to give me these options down the side here. So we've got some basic ones, and if you hover over each one of these, you'll see the action taking place. So you can kind of test drive and see what you like. Now, these have been around for a little while now. These they added a little while ago, but these are the new ones. So this is the fun thing about Canva is they're constantly adding new things for us. And I love that about them. So for example, we could have this rotate. Guess which one I used for the piece I showed you earlier, right? Or you can have it flicker in and out. You can have it pulse. You can have it give a little wiggle, right? And it would be the same thing for this one because this is also an image, right? So, maybe we're going to have them both pulse. How about that? We'll do pulses on them. Okay. When we select the photo, the image here, you're going to see that we've got pretty much the same, but we've also got these photo movement ones. And I don't think stomp came for the other one. So again, you can have it, moving, which is again, this is a single click event. What it does is it just takes the image you've got and kind of gives it a panning motion, which is kind of high end thing here, right? Same thing, with the rise. So this is just changing the different direction. But the point is that you've got, these different elements, right? So when I was on here, we didn't have those elements because it wasn't a photo. But when I go into a photo, now we've got some different options coming in. So, but you can do the other ones on it, right? If you wanted it to be neon, if you wanted it to drift, it can breathe, which is a little weird for a photo, but that's my thing, So you can try all these different things. But you see how quickly, this gets overwhelming when you've got all this stuff going on. So again, depending on where you want people to focus, that's where you're going to pick different things. And just so you can see, so you could rotate the image if you wanted to. You can have it flicker in and out. It's actually kind of ironic for an engineering thing. You probably wouldn't want to imply bad electrical feed on an engineering event, but who knows? Maybe you do. Depends on what the topic is, right? So some of these work for this topic, some of them don't. I don't know that wiggle is a good one for a thing about engineering. It doesn't feel like a good fit. And the photo may not need anything, but I did want to just highlight the fact that depending on what it is you're doing, you're going to get different options. So this is already getting on my nerves. So what you can do here is if you decide that you don't like this anymore, you can take it away. Come back. There we go. By just clicking on it, right? So you can just say, yeah, no, I decided I don't want that anymore. Okay, that worked 2 minutes ago. I swear that worked 2 minutes ago. Let's see if I do that. It's going to take the whole thing. This is a new one, so it may be having a problem at the moment. Let's see. Maybe if I go here and I say remove animation, that's what I was looking for. Usually there's a remove animation thing, but it's not removing. Here we go. There it is. It now remembers that there's a remove animation. But that does highlight the next thing I want to talk about, which is that when you're in here, you can do more than one on a single element. Now, that may not be people may get a little carried away with that. So you do want to use it carefully. But as an example, I'm going to put the pulse back on, right? And then I'm also going to add a rise. So now this particular element is going to rise and pulse at the same time, whereas the one over here is just pulsing. So that's just something else to be aware of, that you can do the two. But like I said, when you put something on here, you can come down. I don't know why. I think I was having a little problem with the desktop app earlier. I may go back to, I may go back to the, no, it's okay. I may go back to the browser version if that keeps happening. And you can always, just remove it and then it just goes back to being whatever it was. If you are on the paid, when you are applying it or working with it, you can come in here and you can adjust the intensity of whatever you've selected. So if I turn the intensity up on the pulse, it happens faster. If I bring it down, it happens slower. And that's what I mean about being subtle with it. Sometimes if you're going to do just a little something and you turn down the intensity of it, it makes it a more subtle effect, which can actually be more engaging for people, which sounds counterintuitive, but honest, it's not. It's just how things work. So there is that. The other thing is if you click on text, you're also going to get different items. So you've got the writing, so it'll type it in. right? Or you can have the text ascend. So again, these are different options based on the element that you have selected. And of course, you have the standard ones as well. So you can have your text breathe if you want. You can have it tumble in. You can go neon, which actually works really good if you have the neon font. But so again, just to show you that you've got these different options, and it's just a matter of how you want to work with it. And then again, if you use the little crown here, highlight that for you. Anytime in Canva you see this little crown, that means that it's a paid feature. So adjusting the intensity is a paid feature. So if you are just using the free version, that just means that you're going to use this however it comes in, whatever speed it's at. But it does have all these different issues. Not issues, options. Options are not issues. Oh my goodness. Yes, I think I need more coffee or less coffee. I don't know which. Let's see. What does Marcus got to say? Marcus, yes, the engineering party. Yeah, like I said, you want it. That's what I was talking about as far as matching the tone to what you're doing, right? Or what the message is, what you're trying to communicate. So that's really important. Yeah, like I said, those are the new features, and so it's a little wonky. I tried it. I didn't have any problem with it on mobile. I didn't have any trouble with it on the browser version. On the desktop last night, I was having that little thing where like it wasn't always giving me the intensity slider or the remove option. I've already followed a bug. I'm sure they'll go take care of it. New stuff, it happens. That's all part of the party. Okay, so that is all of the basics. That's the main points I wanted to show you, but I did want to show you that there is still the one other, because I know that this is a favorite for a lot of people. So let's go take a look at that. Let's take that down. So the other thing that you'll see, let's maybe pick this. And this is where, like, it might not work for this type of a image, but it could be used for other things. And matter of fact, you know what? Let me just bring in something. About. I get down rabbit holes here. I'll try not to. I'm just looking for something interesting. All right, let's add this. Okay, so let's say that you wanted to add this little toolbox in. You're going to make this smaller. But maybe, again, as visual interest, maybe you're going to turn off all these other ones, but you want to do something a little interesting with this. So you're going to put it like here, maybe. Where maybe, people were not really, they will put it down here, right? Because this is Western world, left to right reader. So this would not be obvious right from the beginning as people are scanning this real quick. But you can come in here, you can select this. Now, again, it's an image, so you've got all of the image motion effects, and, you could do the rotate or whatever you wanted to do. But if you click on this, yes, we still have the custom path animation. So the idea with this is exactly what this little image is showing you up here. Come back. All right, too many tools on my desktop. So this piece here, right? So what we're going to do is when we click on this is actually an app that is built into Canva. And all you're doing is you're going to select this, and then you're going to tell the tool what path you want this element to be on. So we've got it, and we're going to come here, and we're going to have this just kind of wander around the screen. Now you are limited to 10 seconds, so this may not work because it may be too long, but there you go. Let me tell you, path animations and other tools, way harder. This one, the only downside of it is the fact that, it is limited to a particular time window, but you do have some options, right? So that was the basic speed. You can also make it go smoother, right? So if your line is a little wonky or has a lot of sharp edges in it, you can do that. You can make it more steady. You can change the way it looks. You can also adjust the speed of it so it can go faster or slower. See, that's what I mean by like too fast. Like that could actually make somebody sick. So you don't really want to do that. You can also orient the element to the path. So what that means is it will change direction as it's moving along. So again, this is not something that you're going to want to use every single time. However, there are times where that could be a lot of fun. And their little example of the bee is a good one, right? So if you had it, like if it was a gardening show, right? And you had flowers around and you wanted to put a little bee that very quietly went and visited all the flowers. It's a cute for sure, but also engaging and eye-catching little touch, light seasoning again, for somebody who doesn't cook, but light seasoning of animation that will help engage people, catch their eye, make it memorable, make it shareable, all those things we talked about at the beginning with that one little animation. So it is definitely something to think about, to look at. Whoops. Sorry. And you've got all those options now in one place, right? So that the reason I love the fact that they did that is because you used to have to know that animation for the path animation, that app was out there, go get it to use it. Now, when you select animate, all of your options are right there. So you could do the path animation, you can do the basic ones that they've given us for a while, or you can go ahead and do the new ones, which are basically one click. Like beforehand, I was having to rig things in order to try to get it to rotate or whatever. Now it's easy. It's one button and things rotate. Love it. Absolutely love it. So that is basically everything I wanted to show you in this little demo. But I love you people who stick through, right? I love you people who are really into this for the long haul. So as a way of showing you my thanks, I'm going to give you one more little tip. Let me go and get that. And that is, I did find inside of Canva World a whole page of really helpful information about using all this stuff. And the link is in the description, as is the link if you've never used Canva and you want to try it. That's all there. But let me bring this up. So there is a page that has all kinds of information about doing it on the computer, doing it on mobile, how to apply them, how to change, how to remove them, all that kind of stuff. So all the stuff I talked about and a little bit more, of course. Yeah, I thought it was 10 seconds. It is 10 seconds. So each animation can be 10 seconds long at maximum. They obviously can be shorter. And you are limited to 50 animations created. I'm guessing that means per design. 50 would be a lot, but so 50 would be a lot for your basic social media post, infographic, that type of thing. If you're using these to create GIFs, right? If you're using these to create little videos, then, 50 is a limit to be aware of, because if you're actually doing animation, honest to goodness, animation, then yeah, that limit is something to be aware of. But Marcus likes my balloons. So yeah, so that is the other little extra bonus. I like to give you folks who stick around a little extra bonus, and that is the one for you. As I mentioned, all of the links are in the description, so you can go ahead and get those there. If you have any questions or comments, you can always reach out to me, yourtechcoach.com. You can, ideas for a show. If you have questions, if you want a one-on-one consult, that is the place to go. If you want to, there is a mailing list option. No pressure, just there if you want it. That is where I let everybody know first what's going on. And I do have some things probably first of the year that I'm going to announce, and those folks will find out about it first. So if you want to sign up, you can go ahead and do that there. You don't have to worry. I don't sell my mailing list anything. It's just a way for me to communicate and keep you folks up to date. All right? So that's it. Go check it out. It is a lot of fun to play with these things, which is obvious. For me, that's reason enough to go and try something out. But it is also really effective in achieving your goals for whatever content is that you are making. So go and try it. Don't do it in everything you do, please. But selectively pick a few pieces and then monitor what the response you get from those pieces versus your more static pieces. And that will help you get the feel for when it is a good time to go ahead and use those. And also keep an eye on that side panel in Canva, because they're constantly slipping new things in there. So keep an eye out, give them a try, all that kind of good stuff. All right, everybody. I hope you are having a great, well, technically end of summer is a couple weeks away, but it feels like end of summer here. But I hope your summer was great and you're into your fall season and things are going well. We are here every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. You are more than welcome to come and hang out and chat and hang out live like a few people have been doing. But if you are watching this on the replay and you have a question or a comment, feel free to go ahead and put those in, depending on what tool you're using. The comment section is a different spot. I do come back and I read and respond to those as quickly as I can. So have a good one, everybody. We will see you next week. Bye.